Ryan Jarrell here for Fight Bananas, and we have the Baltic Gladiator, Modestas Bukauskas, back on the show. He'll be fighting next at UFC 315, May the 10th, when he takes on Ion Cutelaba. Modestas, how are you?
Yes, doing very well, thank you, brother. Always good to speak to you.
Yes, sir. Good to talk to you again. And, I feel like I just spoke to you just a couple of weeks ago.
I know.
You had that huge victory, and now here you're booked again so soon. Is this a good turnaround time frame for you?
Oh, it's perfect. It's funny. Me and my manager, Jason, we were literally just talking about it straight away. He said, "When would you like to get back out?" He said, "Do you reckon May time?" I said, "Yeah." And then literally about 4 days after the fight, I got a message from my manager saying, "Are you ready to fight Ion Cutelaba in May?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So it couldn't have gone any better. Obviously, both me and Ion finished our fights relatively fast, came out unscathed, no injuries, so everything played out perfect. You know, as a fighter, you want to stay active, so I'm glad that everything turned out the way that it did.
Well, let's dive right into this matchup. I'm really excited about this fight. I think both of you guys are right outside of the top 15. So a win and an impressive victory might get one of you guys into that top 15, which is, I know, the next step for you. What do you think of the matchup stylistically? Do you like it for yourself?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, he comes out very aggressive. He's, highly skilled in every aspect of MMA. He can take people down. He can beat them up on the floor. He's got good striking. He's become a lot more. Had a lot more of a controlled aggression in his fights now. He hasn't been going quite as wild as his earlier fights. So he has leveled up since his first couple of fights in the UFC. So yeah, I mean the main thing is to obviously control that aggression. He seems to be very energetic and starts very fast, but then he seems to sort of tank later on in the round. So look, at the end of the day, you've got to put him into deep waters. So that's exactly what I plan to go out and do.
What did you think of his most recent performance? That was the first submission he's had in a long time over a really hyped up prospect, a guy that only had one loss coming into the fight. Were you impressed by that performance?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he literally took the fight into his own hands. Put the fight to where the obviously his opponent was weak, which was on the floor. Yeah, just literally as soon as he took him down. I mean, Ebo managed to get back up to his feet the first time, but then yeah, after that, as soon as he managed to get him down the second time, it was pretty much all she wrote after that. So yeah, it was very impressive to see him, come out with some good strikes and then obviously implement his takedowns as well. So yeah, he showed a very all-rounded game there.
I think I saw in a recent interview you did, maybe it was a long time ago, that you ran into Kutalaba. Did you guys like have any words? Like, what was that like?
No, it was very amicable. It was literally we just ended up passing each other as we were going down to like sign posters or something like this, and we both just shook hands. It was nothing crazy. It was just like like hey, how's it going? And that's about it. I think both me and him probably knew that at some point that matchup would probably get made. So it was more of just like a gentleman's sort of approach, I guess you could say. But I know that obviously when it comes to the fight. He's definitely going to bring the heat. So I'm definitely going to be prepared for that.
Did you kind of size him up and just kind of look at like his muscle mass and all that? I feel like you're the bigger guy here.
Yeah, I mean he's a little bit shorter than me, but obviously he's quite stocky. He's definitely got that Greco-Roman wrestling type build. So yeah, he's very top heavy. But yeah, man, look, at the end of the day, obviously, I think all of us are doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? We're seeing him in front of us, and we're like, okay, like this is how tall he is. This is where his reach is, and stuff like this. So, like the Tom Aspinall reaching his hand out onto the shoulder. So it's the same with us, really. It was exactly the same. But yeah, man. Like I say, I think it was all just written in the stars, as you might say.
He's, as you said, a very aggressive fighter. He's got 13 TKO or KO victories. But he's also a good grappler too, right? You even alluded to that early on in the interview here. But like, do you think he's better on the feet versus on the ground, or is he pretty much well-rounded, equal everywhere?
I think from what it seems like he's equal everywhere. I mean, if you look at his sort of last fight, to pull off that submission as well, um, you know, at the end of the day, with a guy like that, you gotta, like I say, you gotta take it to him. You know, you can't shy away. You can't let him to play into his strengths. You gotta literally, as I mentioned before, you got to put him into deep waters. So you got to put him on the back foot. You might have to put him on his back instead. You know what I mean? Land shots on him and stuff like that. So, like I say, he's definitely become much improved, but same way that I've become much improved. You know what I mean? So. He definitely comes a lot more controlled with the way that he presses forward, and ultimately he comes in with a better game plan and much more strategic. So I expect him to do the same against me. But a fight's a fight. So I've just got to implement my strengths onto his, and like I say, I just feel that that will be enough to take him out.
Is this one of those fights too where you go against some guys and you know what they're going to do? Like if you're going against a wrestler, you know you're going to be stuffing takedowns the whole fight and trying to keep it on the feet. Do you with this particular matchup, do you feel like it's kind of like, well, I'm not quite sure how this fight could play out. Like it could be on the feet, it could be on the ground. Or do you feel like he's going to try and make this fight a certain kind of way with you specifically?
Yeah, well, I definitely think he's going to try and take me down at some point. I can't expect him just to go out and brawl with his hands for the whole fight because ultimately he comes from a Greco-Roman wrestling background. So I understand that he is going to try and implement his wrestling as well once he gets into the exchanges. As you saw in the Ebo fight, Ebo thought it was just going to be a stand and bang brawl, and then next thing you know, he ducks underneath and goes for the takedown. So I've got to be ready for that. So which I will be. So, like I said, I just know that I can expect him to come out full force, very explosive, very aggressive, and yeah, it's down to me to tone it down a notch.
Who has the heavier hands? Do you think you have more power than he does?
We just got different attributes, you know. I've just got slightly longer range, you know. Believe my reach is probably a little bit more than his. But I tend to fight more with longer shorts, whereas he uses shorter levers, like sort of big hooks and stuff like that. I mean, listen, we we both seen what we can do in terms of when our fists touch the chin. So yeah, I'm looking forward to bring the clash out in our fight. But ultimately, I think I've got the upper hand. So, when it comes to powerful hands, I've definitely showed that in more of my most recent matchups, and I intend to put fist to face in this fight.
Yeah, man. If you land another KO like you did the last time out, especially over this guy, ooh, that's a big statement in the division. As far as him too, like with the mean mugging and the face paint and everything with the weigh-ins, like what's the mentality prepping yourself for that? Because I'm sure it's maybe a little different than a lot of the other guys that you might have to face, fight week.
Yeah, so we're here for entertainment, We're here not only to fight and obviously, hype up the fight and everything like that, but it's part of the game. At the end of the day, you got to appreciate it and you got to love it. But obviously, when it's this in your face, literally screaming in your face, obviously it puts puts a different demeanor. But I mean, for me, realistically, it's just about staying calm, staying stoic. Ultimately that's part of his game plan. That's part of his mental warfare. So let him do all the mental warfare that he wants. Ultimately we're going to have to go in there and fight anyways. So yeah, it's about basically staying calm until it comes time for us to step into the cage and then turn it up.
We'll circle back to UFC 315 and put a bow on it before we get out of here. But a lot of other stuff I wanted to ask you real quick. Obviously, we just spoke. After we did speak, I saw a post on your Instagram recently about you had a custom made basketball jersey given to you by some guys. Tell me what that was like, because forgive me, I didn't know who those guys were. Just tell me what that was all about. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was amazing. So those guys were basically just basically like my Lithuanian countrymen, and they're massive fans of the UFC, and there were a couple of guys that were big fans of myself as well, and obviously me being the only Lithuanian male in the UFC. obviously it meant a lot to them. They wanted to like just come and meet me and stuff like that. And I didn't even know that they had that jersey because as most people, well, I don't know if anyone knows, but like Lithuania are actually very good at basketball. I think they're ranked like fourth in the world or something, and so that's pretty much like the national sport. So to be handed a jersey, a Lithuanian jersey by Lithuania is actually it's like quite a big deal for me. You know what I mean? It just shows how much respect they have for me. And honestly, they were such cool guys. Literally, we just had a chat with all of them, and shook all their hands, had some photos, did a little square off for one of the guys as well. Like it was just really cool. It was just really nice, um, just to see that I have support from, like I say, from the country where I was born, and the guys like really like backing behind me and stuff like that. So, and the jersey is so lovely. Like honestly, mate, the material, it's got like UFC in the corner as well. The Baltic Gladiator and my surname. So I'm definitely going to be walking around with that in Montreal. I mean, I'm not sure what the weather's like out there, but 100% as I'm walking through the hotel and everything, I'm definitely going to be wearing it because just like I say, just to show my support for my own country and just it makes you feel proud. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a really special moment, and all those guys were great. And yeah, I hope to have many more meetings like that.
Yeah, for sure. That's very cool. Basketball was my first love as a kid. I actually played a couple years in college. So did
Oh,
you
amazing.
did you hoop when you were younger? Did you play basketball?
Yeah, I went to school. I went to high school in America in Louisiana for my junior and senior years. So that was the main reason why I actually came out there was obviously to play ball. And yeah, mate. I mean, I started for the team because I was ineligible my first year because of like the foreign transfer like rules or whatever. But yeah, in my senior year of high school, I played and I pretty much started for the whole season. So yeah, I had an amazing experience. I actually tried to do the same thing. Tried to go to college. It didn't work out so well for me. I had some good games and stuff like that, but it's quite hard to get the attention of college coaches, in 1 year. But I had an amazing experience, and yeah, there's nothing like high school sports, especially when you got a team that's really good. Like our team was really good. We got to the state semi-final. Um, like everyone gets behind them. Like the support from like the whole community is just like insane. I'd never seen anything like it before in my life. Like literally especially for the American football games, like you have a whole college side stadium filled with fans, and it's just like it's mad. Just the amount of support that you get from like friends, family, parents, and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a cool time, man.
What kind of a player were you? Were you like a shooter, a slasher? You were a good defensive player?
Well, I don't know. I tried to do a bit of everything. I mean, we were quite a small team. We were like, if you think about it, we were probably the smallest team, like collectively. I think the tallest guy on our team was 6'4". I'm 6'3", and we were playing against teams which had like 6'9", 6'7", sort of guys and stuff. But what separated us from everyone else was the work rate. You know what I mean? Like obviously on defense, our coach was like hammering it into us, like to play aggressively, like on the defensive side of the ball, and like to win on the fast breaks. But that's how we'd break teams. You know what I mean? Just from playing really hard. Like we were just workhorses. That was what made us so good. And we had a couple of like really good players as well. But I think that's what separated us from a lot of the other teams, because some other teams had really talented players, but we had the work rate. So yeah, that's that. It was a good time, man. It was a good time.
Do you follow the NBA now? And if so, like, do you have a favorite team or player?
Do you know what? It's funny. I don't follow it. Every sport that I delve into and like that I play or whatever, I just get fully engrossed by that particular sport. So when I was playing basketball, that's all I watched. I played a bit of American football, and then pretty much all I was watching was like American football and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really follow it so much now.
Okay.
I think the main reason that why I supported the Cleveland Cavaliers was probably because of LeBron James. Because to me, like LeBron was like one of my favorite players. I did like Kyrie Irving as well when I believe they played together on the same team, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Cleveland Cavaliers was my team. I'm not really sure how they're doing right now.
They're good.
But yeah, man. Like, if it's on TV though, like, do you know what I mean? And like, especially if I'm American, and like you're in a restaurant or whatever, I'll watch it. Like, it's cool, man. What about
Okay.
you? Who do you support?
Well, I'm from New England, so I'm a big Boston Celtics fan. Um,
Boston Celtics.
100%.
Nice.
I think it's going to be the Celtics and the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals this year. That's what I think is going to happen. So
Oh,
that'll
so
be
The Cavs are doing all right this year then, because I
they're
know that they did well, then they had a bit of a slump, and then they were kind of an up and down sort of team, you know.
yeah, no, they're doing very well this year. Donovan Mitchell is the man. You'll have to if I connect with you during some UFC fight week in the future, we gotta shoot some hoops somewhere. If there's a court,
Oh,
we gotta.
mate, 100%. So did you play shooting guard back? How tall are you?
I'm 5'10" and a half, so I'm not real
Point
tall.
guard.
I was a guard. Yeah, I was basically like a scoring point guard. I was a good
Oh,
shooter
okay.
and I could drive. Yeah, I got a pretty good handle. But yeah, those days are pretty much in the
Oh,
past. I
mate,
play a little bit, but
we definitely got to get a game on the court, brother. 100%. Like I say, if we're ever in the same area, man, we'll get it going, mate. We'll play a game of horse.
let's do it. Let's do it. Well, I could talk basketball with you all day. Let's transition back to MMA. I wanted to get your thoughts on your division. There's a new champion. Ankalaev beats Poatan. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And do you feel like, Ankalaev might hang on to the belt for a little while now?
Yeah, the way he fought that fight was very smart. It seemed like Pereira just couldn't really get anything off. I think Southpaw style with the good hands and stuff like that, he's managed to land quite a lot of nice shots, and I think that caused a lot of issues for Pereira. Um, you know, Ankalaev also it was funny because he didn't really get to get much of his wrestling going in that fight as he mentioned before. So Pereira's defense in that regard definitely held up. But yeah, I feel personally that Ankalaev will definitely be a champion for a while. Even in the rematch, I'm still leaning more towards Ankalaev. But yeah, I mean, it opens up the division even more, so that there's a lot of interesting matchups still yet to be made.
For sure. And Jamal Hill faces Khalil Roundtree soon. That fight's been rebooked now. How do you see that fight playing out? You know Khalil pretty well.
Yeah, it's funny because I would just like to see how good Jamal's boxing will be against Khalil, because Khalil's obviously got that Thai style, got very powerful kicks and stuff of this low stance, and he's got very heavy overhands himself. So I'm just wondering, because realistically, it seemed that the boxing of Pereira in the later rounds is what won him the fight. Landing those shots and like sort of slipping and staying in range. So will Jamal Hill be able to do that against him? I don't know. It's like I say, it's interesting to see, and they're both southpaws. So yeah, I mean, obviously that's a great matchup, a great fight. So I'm looking forward to see what happens in that one. But I think if I was going to lean towards someone winning that fight, I'd probably say Khalil, just because he's got a very vicious kicking attack, and it opens up the southpaw kick. Like because they're both southpaws, the kicking game will be opened up for Khalil. So yeah, I mean, like I say, it's a great fight.
It's going to be a fun fight. I can't wait to watch that one. As far as you prepping for Ewan here, we're like a month out. What will the next 3 weeks look like for you? Like, who do you have around you? What do you have left to do before you make that trip to Canada?
Yeah, so I mean, everything pretty much stays the same. There'll be 2 more weeks that I'll be going up to Tom Aspinall's camp, training with the guys. My main training partner is Simeon. He's fighting a week before me in the PFL championship, the championship tournament. He's flying from there to Montreal to corner me, which is absolutely amazing. We're gonna get two big wins here. But yeah, pretty much just training with Sim. I've got James Webb that I'm also training with. I've got a couple of really good like grappling guys that I'll probably get a couple of sessions in with as well. There's a bit more in terms of the strength and conditioning to be done with my dad as well. But realistically, like everything, pretty much stays the same. I'll probably get another 2 weeks of sparring left. With some of those big boys. Like I said, I'll probably get quite a load of rounds in with Tom just because there's less of the heavyweights there now, just because some of them have had their fights already. So yeah, it's good. And I have to admit, like training with Simeon has been a massive. It's been a massive heaven sent just because he's a tall 6'5", 6'6", long rangy striker with good wrestling and his jiu-jitsu is like insane as well. So it's good. I've been getting some very good looks in training, and I'm looking forward to. There's going to be a couple of really hard sessions that I'm not looking forward to, but it's part of the game and part of the final preparations. But realistically, everything's already where it needs to be, and that's just final touches. Final touches.
Very exciting. A couple questions about Tom Aspinall. He alluded to some big news coming soon. Is there? What will it be soon? Can you give us any inkling at all?
Who knows, mate? Who knows? Who knows what the future holds for Tom? But like I say, you just always got to be ready. Do you know what I mean? So that's what he's doing. He's always staying ready. So whenever that call comes, I mean, he'll be ready to go.
Let me ask you this. If that fight with Jones is made, and I know he's your boy, he's your training partner, but like specifically when you look at that fight objectively, how do you think it ends? Like I'm sure you think Aspinall wins, but like do you think he can finish Jones? Do you think he would finish Jones, or do you think it would go to a decision?
Yeah. So I mean I see it. I see it genuinely from my perspective. Tom's, like I've mentioned before in interviews, his distance management and his speed are some of the best that I've ever seen. And yeah, you got Jones has got an insanely long reach. He likes to use those long range weapons and stuff like that. He likes to be quite crafty in there. But like I say, I feel like Tom's attributes in that area would trump his. So I reckon as soon as he manages to get it in close, he could definitely get the knockout there. And on the ground, if for one other reason Jones managed to get him down, like people will be surprised that Aspinall's ground game is actually really good, and he's very explosive, and he just does the right things at the right times. You know what I mean? He's just like he's very slippery on the floor, and he's been training with like some very good grapplers as well. So um, for me, yeah, if you're talking from how I generally think, what's going to happen, I think probably. If Tom doesn't knock him out with the hands, it'll probably go to a decision. But I think Tom will be able to manage that distance, and that range to put him in the driver's seat. So that's my personal opinion.
I think I mean, I don't think John Jones is afraid of anybody, but do you think that Jones is hesitant to take the fight with Tom because of the danger aspect and the legacy aspect of it too, right? Like John Jones is considered by many the greatest of all time right now. If he goes in there and gets starched by this young beast, Tom Aspinall, a lot of people are going to say, well, was he really the greatest of all time? Like that, and this is towards the end of his career. Like, do you think he's thinking about that a lot, and that's maybe why he wants this extra time to prepare for Tom?
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got to be smart at this point in your career. I mean, he's going towards, I think, 37, 30, sort of 37, 38 towards the back end of his career. Tom's sort of in in his proper like prime of his career, on a massive role and stuff like this. So it would be silly not to take Tom seriously. You know what I mean? And in a way, it's clever of him to want to do everything that he can like he does for all of his opponents. So he does that for everyone. He doesn't just do that for Tom. Obviously because of all this chat behind it, they're thinking, oh, well, he's just longing it out for Tom. But if you look at all of his fights, he's always likes to be very meticulous in the way that he plans for things, and he would be right to do so. You know what I mean? Because I think he understands that Tom is dangerous, but that does mean that we are going to see the most dangerous John Jones because he's going to prepare as best that he can for him, and he will bring in all the appropriate guys. So it's going to be very interesting. Like I say, if that fight comes through and we get a date for that and everything gets set, I think it'll be one of the greatest heavyweight clashes the UFC has ever seen, and yeah, it'll be amazing for the public to watch.
Oh yeah, that'll break all the pay-per-view numbers. I think it'll even break Connor. Khabib. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy by saying that, but I think it's going to be right there. One last Aspinall related question: do you think when he's done, what do you think the chances are of him being considered the greatest heavyweight of all time? Do you think that there's a strong chance that he could be considered that guy?
100%. 100%. Um, the things that he's done in such a short space of time, you really can't you really can't not say that. Do you know what I mean? Like he's literally taken out all of the top guys in the division within a round. Do you know what I mean? So uh just based on that, even like you got to give him heavyweights. I think what would solidify it, what would literally just be like the uh the thing that would just make it like solidified is him beating Jones, greatest of all time at heavyweight, without a question. I don't think anyone will even get close. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, Tom's my boy, but I genuinely believe that. Like there hasn't been a guy like him in so many years, just from even an athleticism standpoint, speed standpoint. Do you know what I mean? The way that he flows inside the cage and the way that he puts people away. So yeah, man, it's very exciting times for Tom, and like I say, I'm looking forward to see him do well.
Can't wait for it. Couple quick questions about UFC 315. We'll put a bow on it. I'll let you get out of here, my man. As far as getting to Montreal goes, what is that flight going to look like? Do you already have everything booked, or is that coming
Yeah.
soon?
Yeah, so I'll be getting out there a week before the event. I'll be getting there the Saturday beforehand, and I think it's a 5 hour time difference if I'm not mistaken. So that will give me plenty enough time to be able to acclimate to the time zone difference. It's quite good that it's on the East Coast. It's better than Seattle, being on the West Coast. So yeah, everything will be much better for me to adjust. I'm not sure what the weather's like down there, up there, down
Yeah.
there. But but yeah, I mean, it's another city, it's another place to go out and conquer, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to like I say, even just doing a bit of exploring in the city, with my dad and my corners. So just like we did in Seattle, I thought it was really cool, going to Bruce Lee's grave and stuff like that. And so I'm sure we'll have more of those amazing experiences in Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal is not far for where I'm at. So come the end of May, it's going to be nice. It's going to be like springtime. It'll be comfortable weather. You'll be able to rock your new basketball jersey around during fight
Amazing.
week.
I'm loving that. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely got to have the Suns out, guns out, and the Lithuanian basketball jersey. So that's good to hear.
As far as the main event goes, Bilal and JDM for the 170 title. Who's your pick there? How does that fight finish?
Yeah, I've got to give it to Bilal. I mean, the way that the way that he's able to implement his wrestling and his quite crisp boxing style actually, from what we saw in his last fight. So yeah, although JDM is an amazing, he's got amazing hands and he has got good takedown defense. I think if Bilal can get his hands on him, it'll be a long night for him.
And the Cutelaba matchup, official prediction, man. How does it end? I know you're going to get your hand raised, right? But how do you do it? What round? Is it TKO? You go into a decision? What do you think in your gut?
I believe I'm gonna finish him by the second round. So I mean, I have it in my head that I'll finish him in the second, but like I say, we're within 2 rounds. So I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna be explosive. I'm gonna put on a show for the fans. So's Ion. He's gonna come out there. He's gonna come all guns blazing. We're gonna clash in the middle of the octagon. It's gonna be fireworks, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I do see myself getting the finish within 2 rounds.
Modestas, if you do get this win, do you have a name ready to call out in that post-fight interview?
100%. But that name, we are gonna we're gonna keep we're gonna keep we're gonna reveal it on the night once I get on the mic. Because yeah, like I say, I've got some special things planned out, some special things lined up, and I'm just looking forward to letting the events unfold. But the main thing what I've got to do is go out and put on the performance that I know I can against E1, get the job done, get the win, and then there can be some interesting things being lined up.
Can't wait to see you back in there, my man. Best of skill come fight night. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
My man.
As always, man, I want to give you the floor. Anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, the floor's yours.
Yeah, 100%. So, of course, and thanks again. It's always great talking to you, brother. Like I said, we always have a good chat, and thank you for always having me on. Um, so, obviously, Iridium Sports Agency, absolutely amazing. For them, for Jason getting me a fight so quick, having a nice quick turnaround. Absolutely love them all. They're amazing. Obviously, my family, my dad. Um, got to thank Ben, my cameraman as well. Simeon, my really close training partner and friend. Paulie, who's also coming out with me. Jit and his whole family. Um, got to thank obviously all the guys down at Tom Aspinall's crew, everyone down at Los Banditos. I've got to thank Marcus as well. He's been helping me out a lot in this camp. Forgive me, obviously, if I've forgotten anyone. Obviously, this is just right off the top of my head, but literally, I've got such a close knit team around me, and I feel like the whole team has just gotten even stronger and even more solidified as a group. And I just feel like it just makes the whole aura around fight week and everything. It just makes it even better. And this whole fight camp, I've been in very good spirits, just because of the people that I have around me, and I love them all. So love you guys, and yeah, on to UFC 315, where we're gonna go and take out the Hulk.